What's up, guys? Let's jump right into the champion points. Not gonna be hasty here. Let's just keep going. Damage reduction, medium armor. You're a little squishy, so I like to go with 61 and 61 into elemental defender and hardy. 54 into quick recovery. That's going to give you the extra healing received. Pretty self-explanatory. You're going to have vigor. That's going to heal you, as well as your buff. So you definitely want to have some extra healing coming in. Reduce stamina cost, 100 points into there for PVE. And then stamina recovery, I do 37, and then I do 39 into tumbling because you are stamina based and you don't want to use, if you have to dodge an attack, you don't want to use all your stamina dodging things. And then for blue tree, 100 into mighty for the physical and poison damage, and then 57 into precise strikes for the weapon critical damage, and then you do a lot of damage over time, so I have to throw 20 in there. That's pretty much it for the champion points. Everything's pretty self-explanatory, not really too complicated, pretty simple. Let's go to the gear before we get to the skills. Maelstrom dagger, precise. The other weapon of choice would be the Maelstrom axe sharpened. I do not have that, so I just use this for the extra health because it's sharpened. I'm not going to make it gold because I'm really not going to use it on a tank. I don't like the tank, so I just kept it purple until I get the Maelstrom axe. But the Maelstrom axe is going to do the same thing as the dagger, but it causes bleeding, so it's going to maximize damage along with the precise that gives you the extra 3.5 weapon critical. And then on the back bar, the Maelstrom bow. It'd be better if it was infused or charged, but precise will work. It's better than defending or some other trash weapon, but that's going to increase your volley. And then for my head and shoulders and jewelry, I use the Vicious Ophidian. If you do not have Vicious Ophidian, you can use Kina, one piece Bloodspawn, one piece Kina. You could use Valkan Scoria. I'd probably recommend Valkan Scoria if you don't have Vicious Ophidian. Like I said, I use the jewelry. It's very OP. 5% damage to bosses, weapon critical, reduce stamina cost by 8%, and it gives you stamina back whenever you kill something, and it increases your movement speed. Also gives you 124 weapon damage. This right here makes it very OP. Kind of like Outcast. I think it was Outcast that said this, but if Rambo was to play ESO, he would probably pick a Stam Sorc, and this gear set right here is what makes that. Twiceborn Star, definitely your go-to 5-piece for a Stam Sorc for PVE. Give you the max health and the max stamina. Two Munda Stones, and for the Munda Stones, you want the Thief and the Shadow, crit damage and crit chance, so make sure you have both of those. Alright, let's get into the skills. With the Maelstrom weapons, you get a very large boost to Bloodthirst and Blood Craze combo. I do use these two while I'm in Maelstrom because they both heal you. I mean, you can do the other morphs if you want, but for survivability, and they still do massive amounts of damage. Vigor, that's going to be your main source of healing. Rearming Trap, this is going to increase your crit damage by 12%. This is huge, on top of the Thief and Shadow Stones. Bound Armaments, this is going to give you physical and spell resistance. Also, it's going to increase your max stamina and your heavy attacks, which pretty OP. I used Flawless Dawnbreaker, increased my damage by 5% while slotted. You can go with the other morph, but I like to have the passive for the 5% damage. The other morph is actually going to hit a lot harder. Hurricane, this is huge. This is your biggest DOT alongside Arrow Barrage. This is also going to increase your physical resistance as well and increase your movement speed by 10%. Arrow Barrage, I like to use it in the Maelstrom because it covers more ground. It doesn't last as long as the other morph, but it does cover a lot more ground. But this, along with the Maelstrom bow, is going to do a lot of damage because your damage is increased every per half a second. This is going to be your weapon damage buff, and also you're going to heal yourself for 3,000 every time you crit, so you want to have that high weapon critical. Very important. Poison injection, this is going to be a DOT, and your execute, very OP. Does extra 200% damage to enemies below 50% health, so it's a 50% execute, very, very OP once again. And bound armaments, so you have to have this on both bars it's an active ability, so you have to keep it active. It's not something you can just hit and it's on a timer. It stays up as long as you have it on both bars. That's pretty much it, guys. Make sure to subscribe, and I will get some gameplay footage of this very shortly in Maelstrom. There's really nothing else to cover. We'll go look at the champion points again, just so you guys can make sure you got those. How you can actually change these a little bit, lower them a little bit if you want, put a few more in the quick recovery. But for a beginner, I myself consider myself still very much so a beginner with the Stamp Sorc. I've only actually completed on this character, I want to say 4 or 5 times, just to get the title and just to do Maelstrom on a different character, have a little fun with it. I recommend doing the more damage mitigation. But this tumbling, guys, is very important. A lot of people don't use it, but I like it. It really saves a lot of stamina. I mean, as you can see, I don't use it a whole lot to roll dodge, and not having any shields as a Stamp Sorc, it's very important to miss some of the one-shots, some of the heavy attacks that you get from the enemies. Just because you can heal a lot doesn't mean, you know, one-shots still won't kill you. But anyways, guys, make sure to subscribe. My Magic Nightblade Maelstrom build is coming, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.